Oh, well, hello there. Welcome to my content cave. I wasn't expecting you at all. Oh, that's way too much. I've done YouTube for like 8 years now, so I decided finally that it was time to step up my game. And I needed to build a dedicated space where I could shoot and edit video and write and record music. The first thing that most people notice when they walk in is the lighting. Lighting is of course the #1 most important part of video production, and I wanted to have 360 degrees of amazing looking lighting at any given moment so that I could point the camera in any direction and it's gonna look great. So I came up with the idea to run these recessed LEDs all the way around the room, and I think it worked out pretty great. The company who makes these LEDs is called Suilo, and they're like aftermarket light strips that integrate with the Philips Hue system, but they're way better in every way more powerful. As you can see, it worked out pretty great. I can do crazy shit like make it all these different colors with the touch of a button or with some voice commands. And then I can say, computer lights. And we're back, just like that. So it's divided up into 4 different quadrants of the room, and then each one top and bottom. So there's actually 8 different zones that I can have different colors. So I can have the top and bottom of each quadrant be a different color. For example, back here is the background for my desk setup. I like splitting it either top and bottom, like red and blue, or like teal and gold, kind of a Hollywood look. I can have it split in the middle here and have one side be blue and one side be red or something. Really, it's not going to make the video any better or more exciting if I'm not fun to watch or saying anything interesting or cool, but it's more for me than anything else. You might be wondering to yourself, where is the acoustic treatment in the room? If this is a studio, why isn't it a big echoey mess? And it's very cleverly hidden. So these walls aren't actually walls at all. They're actually made of duck canvas stretched across 1x2 frames. And duck canvas is like acoustically transparent fabric. And then behind those all the way around is safe and sound insulation, which absorbs the vast majority of reflections in the room. My main recording setup is actually relatively simple because since the majority of what I do is in the box, I don't really need a ton of outboard gear. As you can tell, like a lot of the rack space is empty. I don't have like that much stuff. But I did upgrade quite a bit from my last setup. This desk was actually in here already. It is of unknown make and model and origin. My landlords are actually film composers and sound engineers, so they just had this. It's pretty amazing. It's huge. It would have been a bigger pain in the ass to take it out than anything else. It's the only thing in the room that probably isn't gonna move much. For my interface situation, I actually have 2 Universal Audio Apollos. Here I've got the X8P, which I really needed to upgrade. So the fine folks at Sweetwater were kind enough to send this over, and it has been absolutely amazing, mainly because I can have a bunch of different things plugged in, ready to go all at once. I don't need to be wasting time plugging and unplugging things. No. I have to have everything plugged in, ready to go, ready to create, which is why I upgraded from this, my past interface, sort of hidden over here, which is the UAD Apollo Twin Quad. It's just, you know, a little bit cuter than I need at the moment. What's great about those is that you can actually link them, and the computer kind of recognizes it as if it's one single interface. In this interface, I currently have my streaming vocal mic, my guitar DI, my singing vocal mic, my synths, my amp setup, and the Kemper all plugged in and ready to go at a moment's notice. For a DI, I'm just using the Countryman Type 85. It's the best DI box I've ever used, and it's like not even really that expensive. The computer that I'm using right now is a Hackintosh that Alex actually built for me. It's ultra compact. So far, it handles everything I needed to without a hiccup. I also have a killer new chair. It's the Autonomous Ergo Chair Pro. This thing is so much better than the gaming chair that I was using before. I spend a lot of time in this chair, so it's gotta be really comfortable, highly adjustable, and have really good ergonomic support, which it does. One major upgrade that I was needing to make for a very long time, but it didn't make any sense for me to do, was monitors. When I was in here before, over in the corner where the old space was, and there was zero acoustic treatment of any kind, having good monitors would have been a waste. Now that the space is properly treated a bit, it was time to get the real deal. So Focal were kind enough to send over these absolute beast monitors. These are incredible. If you haven't had good monitors in a good acoustic space, you haven't even really heard what your music sounds like. It's actually a little bit terrifying because at first you hate it. You go like, oh, is that what it sounds like? Is that what my music sounds like? But the truth is all that matters when it comes to monitoring. You just want to hear the truth. And with the Focal Trio 6BEs, I am able to do that. And another thing that I did not realize was so important is decoupling your monitors from the thing that they're sitting on. And for that, ISO Acoustics has these monitor stands. It also allows you to point the speakers the way that you want them to, because otherwise they'd just be sitting flat and you can move them like this, but you can't angle them up and down. For headphones, I'm using the Focal Listen Pro. These are pretty amazing as well. They hang down here on this little thing. Boom! When I'm sitting here recording videos, I want it to be really, really easy to have my shotgun mic set up for recording, and I want it to be out of the way. So I cleverly hooked up this whole pole system with the clamp and this pole arm, and I stick my little shotgun mic, which is the Rode NTG 3B, on this, and it's right in my face and it sounds amazing. Just, it's perfect. Boom. Huge improvement over using any kind of mic, even a lav mic. Speaking of Rode, for the third time, this is the Rode NT1. So as you can see, like, let's say I'm sitting here making a demo. Oh, I need a demo of vocal. Boom, I just grab it like this and boop. And then I sing my little song. So this actually goes into the one and only 500 series piece of gear that I have, which is this 512C API preamp in the Fredenstein Bento Box 2. I've got my Kemper over here so that I can make profiles for you guys to enjoy out of all of my collection of super duper awesome high gain amps over here. For example, I've got the king of high gain amps, the Rev Generator 120 Mark III, the greatest amp ever made. I've got the Engel Savage Mark II. This amp also f***s real good. We got the Iron Ball, which is adorable and mean as hell. And then I've got the Synergy, which is a billion amps in one. This is like having an Axe FX, but it's analog. It's friggin' outrageous. Here, check this out. This looks like it has the nuclear launch codes in it, but it's actually just all of my modules for the Synergy. They all sound so good. I have way, way more amp sounds than any one person should ever really need. Because I can only use one of these at a time, all of them are fed into this amazing little doodad. This is called the KHE 4x4 FX. It's a little amp switcher where I can choose which amp I want to hear at the moment, and then where I want to send it, what cab. Most of the time I'm using the 2-note torpedo reload as both a reamp box and a load box, so that I can record the amps direct. I did a whole video on the channel where I explained this entire setup and how it all works, so I'm not gonna go into it too much here, but suffice it to say that it is extraordinarily powerful, super easy for me to reamp very quickly, get amazing tones. So for a while I'd been looking for like the perfect warm practical for in the shot. You know, a practical is just a light that's in the shot. And I wanted one of these kind of like Edison bulbs, kind of like typical YouTuber, I know, but there's a reason, and it's because they look awesome. But I wanted something unique and cool, and I went to a flea market with my girlfriend, and I saw this from afar, and I was like, it's perfect, I have to have it. It's exactly what I wanted. It fits in perfectly with this, with the form factor, made by Lisa Raphael Designs, and I love it so much. And then we have my life philosophy in one word: songs are greater than. And then here we've got my set of Rev cabs. This would be a 12 by 12, except that they've got a secret. These are amazing cabs, but only one of them actually has speakers in it because, I don't know, what do I need it for? I'd rather have it as storage, which is what I'm using it for. Oh, look at that. And that might seem kind of lame, but what's actually lame is thinking that you would need this many cabs and speakers for just a setup in my garage. Like, even one of these is complete overkill. That's the one that actually has speakers in it. But if you can't tell, just from looking at it, then does it really matter? The answer is no. Also, I do have speakers for them, so if at some point I actually need this many speakers, I can load them all up. This right here is the Roland RD64 MIDI controller. As far as I know, this is the only 64 key fully weighted keyboard on the planet. They discontinued it for what reason, I will never understand. I guess maybe just that nobody bought them. That's usually the reason. I had to have something nice and compact and I wanted fully weighted keys, even though I am terrible at the keyboard. So this is my ergonomic desk setup. It's actually very difficult to have your keyboard tray and your musical keyboard in a spot that makes any kind of sense at all. And this desk, once again, of unknown make, model, and origin, has this tray that's just perfect. Like, this is a very comfortable place to type and mouse, etc. And then this is a very comfortable spot to have this keyboard. I've got my Microsoft ergonomic keyboard. This thing is completely boss. And then I've got my ATEM Mini Pro ISO from Blackmagic. I use this to switch camera angles and stuff like that. And the all-important, life-saving Stream Deck. This thing makes my life so much easier in every single way. I cannot recommend getting one of these enough if you are a creator or streamer of any kind. That accounts for everything on the desk. Now we're going, take a little trip with me down below. Oh, wow. I probably should have expected that to be as disgusting as it is. Convenience is a big theme here. Not because I'm lazy. I mean, I am, but it's not because of that. It's because I want to be able to do things for a long time, very quickly, maximum creativity. This is called the Kinesis Savant Elite 2. This is basically just a mouse click, but on your feet. Clicking all day long on the mouse, you think, how much damage could that possibly do? But I get this nerve pain that runs all the way up my finger, all the way up the back of my neck, and it's horrible. So all I did was offload the clicking part to my feet. This is a lifesaver. Got just a sustain pedal for the keyboard, and then this bad boy. This is for controlling YouTube videos. You can play and pause, you can loop them, you can make them go faster or slower so that you can learn music quickly. Then I got a printer, which is the devil. And then I've got a UPS. It's basically a giant battery, like an emergency battery. If the power goes out, you get like an hour worth of electricity so that you can save things that you were working on and sometimes even just keep on working as if it never happened. And then over here, this is something amazing. Whatever it is that you're recording, it takes up space. You need a lot of storage and it needs to be fast so that you can actually use it. Thankfully for me, OWC exists, and they were so kind to send over this Thunder Bay 8, which is a hard drive bay that has 8 different hard drives in it that are 2 terabytes apiece, for a grand total of 16 terabytes of storage. Plenty for me at the moment. So next we're gonna head over to my streaming setup. So when it comes time to stream, I've also got it set up to be very efficient. All I gotta do is grab the Stream Deck and go. So this is my streaming setup, my streaming desk. It's a Xavier Alto sit stand desk, which is completely sick. And I honestly don't know if they ever went into production, because literally the only other one of these that I've ever seen anywhere on earth is Phineas, you know, Billie Eilish's like brother and her producer, has one that's white, and I've never seen another one anywhere else, and I don't think you can order them anymore. And I don't know why, because it's totally sick. It's kind of huge, but it's a fully featured sit stand desk with a keyboard tray. It's very customizable, you can have racks, and I'm glad that I've got one. I like to stand during my streams because if I sit down, I lose energy. I lose that outrageous energy. Like the sign says, I put that there to remind myself to be more entertaining and interesting to watch. Also got some focals over here. These are the Alpha 50 Evos. This is what I'm listening to your music on the stream. If you come to my Friday stream and you submit a song, this is how I'm gonna hear them. And this is how you're going to hear me. This is the Rode Procaster, and it's on a Rode articulating arm. I've got the Apollo interfaces set up so that I can have 2 different outputs, and then I just switch between them. So when I go to stream, I just hit that, and then the sound is coming out of here instead of out of those. And then the way that you see me on the stream is through the Blackmagic Studio 4K Plus. This is my dedicated stream cam. Also recently, I've started doing in-person interviews on my Monday stream, which is the How Songs Are Made podcast stream. So I've got another mic over here for a second person, or if I, you know, just wanna talk to myself. Hello. So I had this whole grand design of how I was going to store things like tripods and mic stands. I was gonna have a bunch of PVC pipes, and they were gonna be all like attached to a thing. It was very, very complex and expensive and stupid. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks that I was an idiot and I could do exactly the same thing with literally like a $30 trash can, which I call the bucket. It achieves the same goal with extreme simplicity. And I don't even have to have sliders on it. I just slide it around. So right now I'm trying out a couple different looks for the studio. This is what I've been doing the last couple days to do some reaction videos with. This is just one example of the many things that I can do in here with this sort of space and freedom and equipment. This is a very recent acquisition. This is the FlexiSpot Kana bamboo standing desk. This is just so that I could do more like basic bitch YouTuber looks, you know? Hey, want to talk about world events or what? I love to play the drums so much. To me, it's more about having fun than being any good at it. And now that I've got the space in here, I wanted to have a full-fledged, full-size drum kit. So Sweetwater, those sweet, sweet, sweetie pies, were kind enough to send over the TD27KV from Roland. And this thing is amazing. This is probably the most fun that I have just in my life in general. Just mindless, dumb fun, bashing away on these. But I also use it for production. To me, there's something just so much more intuitive and musical about being able to play in drum beats into MIDI for songwriting. And once again, fun factor, big time through the roof with this bad boy. You may have seen in other videos, I've been using the Strike multipad from Alesis. This is also great, great fun. Same basic idea, just a lot more compact. These are all the hats that I wear during my stream, and each one comes with a fun, wacky character that makes it easier for me to break the news to you that your song that you worked so hard on is nothing but a leafy green riff salad. It's just riff salad.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry to tell you, but the song that you wrote is just not very fucking good.
Yar, it's been nothing but riff salad for days.
And then if we go just a little bit further back, what's this? It's the infamous gong. Right now she sleeps, waiting till her return is imminent. If you don't know what the gong is for, well, coming. This is a rack of some of my guitars, just ones that I use a lot. There's a lot more in the house and some over there. This is a Reunion Blues rack. It holds the guitars real good. Let's talk about the lights that I use. Lighting, like I said before, #1 most important thing in video production. My primary key light is this Aperture 300D Mark II. It's also got the Light Dome 2 as a softbox on it, which makes the light really soft and makes my ugly face look beautiful. I then have like a dick ton of these Neewer panel lights that are really great for a lot of different things. You'll see these in a bunch of different places all around the studio. I'll often use them as a fill light. These days, getting great looking lighting really cheap is outrageous thanks to LED lights. I've got ones from a bunch of different companies in here. Neewer were very kind to send over this RGB 960 panel light that's a colored light, and I use this for all kinds of stuff. This makes any video pop. I use it a lot to light background elements to make it pop, and you can control it through an app, which I'm not doing right now. I'm just tweaking the knob on the back. Neewer also sent over some of their C-stands. Nothing makes you feel like a professional video guy more than having C-stands. I wouldn't recommend using it in the way that I do at all. There's probably people who are like professional gaffers who are watching this who are looking at this in abject horror because I've just got it loaded up with all this crap. But, I mean, come on. I've got my boom on it with a shotgun microphone and my hair light. Okay, fine. It's a beanie light. We're just gonna call it a hair light because that's what they call it in Hollywood. It's so beefy, and like everything else in the studio, it's on wheels. Everything in here has to be on wheels or on sliders because I'm gonna be changing it up all the time. Every day I roll everything around, set up some other wacky idea that I've got. Big thanks to Neewer for sending over all that stuff. Direct your attention to these 3 places. Yeah? And then right over here. Check this out. When it's time to shoot, I get 3-point lighting with a command. Computer, desk lights. Boom! And just like that, bam. 3 points of beautiful light. Oh, there's Isaac. Hi, Isaac. Hi! Computer, shut off desk lights. Computer, lights. Tell me that's not the coolest shit you've ever seen in your life. Let's talk about the voice automation a little bit. The way that I have it set up actually was not that complicated. I thought it was going to be very difficult, but the way that technology is these days with smart home stuff, it was super easy to set up, and I'm using the Echo Show, and I just renamed Alexa Computer because I like Star Trek. It's all integrated through the Amazon Alexa app. The Philips Hue system is like incredibly simple and easy to set up. And then anything that isn't that, all I'm doing is using these Casa smart strips and smart plugs, and they're like on Wi-Fi basically, and you can just have them turn on and off with different routines and that are triggered by voice commands through the Alexa app. And that's it. I wanted to have as many different looks in here as I possibly could to use the space to its absolute most potential. And one really great, easy way to do that is to get some photo paper backdrops. So I installed these 3 different ones. We've got a green one, a black one, and behind there, you can't see it, is a white one. I got the longest ones that they make. These ones are crazy expensive because you have to ship them freight if you buy them new from somewhere. Luckily, I was able to get these on Craigslist locally for a steal. I've used these for everything from music videos to B-roll to wacky shit with the green screen. With the green screen, of course, the sky is the limit, but one thing that I learned pretty quick is that even something this big is not that big. You can't stand too close to it, and that means that you have to move the camera back even farther and stand very far away from it in order for it to work right. Very quickly, a very large green screen becomes very small. But I discovered that it's really easy to transport your audience, but just by having a different kind of a backdrop. So this is my little mobile monitoring station. This is really important because most of the time I'm shooting myself with the camera, and I want to be able to see myself really big so that I can see things like, is it in focus? Is it overexposed? I've had to throw away much too much footage because it looked like it was in focus on the screen that was this big 10 feet away. Spoiler alert, it was not. So I just got this monitor. I was actually gonna get more like an AV cart style one, and then I was at Home Depot and I saw this and I was like, why don't I just double down and make it full of awesome storage? So I got this one, and it's great for storing things. It's got mostly camera production equipment in here. I've got a hazer that I haven't used yet, and I just roll it to wherever it needs to be, and I plug it in and I can see myself. Let's talk about the cameras that I'm using. So last year I switched over from Canon to Sony because I was sick and tired of putting up with them sandbagging all of their own products. I needed to be able to shoot 4K, full frame. Canon just wasn't giving it to me, so I switched over to Sony. I now currently own 3 Sony cameras. One is the FX3, which you're seeing this on. The other one is my A6600, great for stuff like vlogging. And then I've got this Sony A7 III, which is actually currently for sale because I don't really like it very much. I kind of just want to get another FX3 instead. The primary lens that I use for most of my shoots is this Sigma 35mm. The lens that you're seeing me through right now is also a Sigma. It's a 14-24, which handles all of the wide and ultra wide things that I need. There's really no reason that any one person needs all of this stuff, but it's kind of like an addiction. You go like, oh, well, if I get this, I can do this kind of a thing. And in that vein, I've wound up with some things like this, for example. This setup right here is the perfect marriage of janky homemade and professional high quality because I got this great slider that I like very, very much. Woo. And this Zhiyun Crane 3S, and it's literally sitting on 2 pipes from Home Depot that are sitting on top of some old keyboard stands. I don't really know what's a better solution than this. These break down to be completely flat, and then I can put them out of the way, and it works amazingly well for crazy smooth B-roll, some of which you're seeing in this video I shot on this, and it was relatively cheap. I think this thing was like 150 bucks or something. This is pretty expensive, but you can get gimbals that are this good that will do the same thing for a lot less. This I just got because I never wanted to have to upgrade if I don't have to. What other things do I have that are expensive? Don't be like me, kids. If you want to do YouTube, you don't need this much crap. I don't know it'll ever be really completely finished in my mind because I'm never satisfied, but I'm actually very happy with where it's at right now, so I wanted to share it with you. I'm also gonna be putting out a whole video about the actual build out process, so look for that very soon. I absolutely could not have done any of this without the help of all of my incredible sponsors. Everything that you've seen in this video can be found at the master list in the link below, and to see what I do here on the channel and how to keep people from skipping the songs that you write, watch this video right here and follow me down the songwriting rabbit hole. Computer, lights out.